The purpose of this video is, first off, to tell you about a dream I've had. Also to make myself, I had to be honest, make myself known amongst people that hopefully speak the same language. And with the same language, I don't mean necessarily English or Spanish. I mean the language of consciousness, the language of psychological understanding, the language of symbolism, why not? The language of alchemy, and the language of dream interpretation. Now, I am not an expert in any field, but for sure that I am an explorer, all right? And I've had many experiences. Actually, I have them every day since many years now, many years in my life, in these 25 years of life, since last 8 September, today is 20, I think, 18. Yeah, so since I was little, I will begin by making an introduction on myself more profoundly. Since I was little, I've been having many experiences which one can describe as extrasensory, okay? So, the first memories I have of my life are actually memories, all right? So, the first memories I have are actually memories, all right? Is these images of a cobra snake in a place that we could say maybe in the Middle East or in India, right? And I interpret them as memories, but to be honest, they could be just many other things, like signals or connections between my mind and other minds. But I have to say that I experience these images primarily as memories. So many things were very normal to me when I was a child, and I grew to understand that maybe they weren't so normal to the understanding of the adults and society at large. And yeah, that's kind of funny, right? So, kind of grew on a very dual experience. So, I had these trips that we made with my family, camping, and yeah, to visit some other family members in the countryside. Beautiful green stories, green experiences, nature, very happy. Also some trauma, but for me it was always like beautiful experiences, heaven-like or earthly heaven-like, and dark shapes and figures in the dark, and voices. I heard voices like non-understandable, intertwined voices, not in my head but in the space. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, and I developed in childhood a deep fear of like what now I can tell is the underworld, we could say, or creatures of the underworld. So last night I had a dream in which one of these creatures of the underworld, very disgusting creature, was chasing me. Okay, I will tell the whole dream, right? In this dream, my brother was strangling me. Yeah, he was like overpowering me and strangling me, and stripped me of my upper clothes, and I was left alone in the street at night. With this first part is not exact, but which later in the dream. This is very interesting. Later in the dream, I experienced the same thing, but from another perspective, very caricature-like, like cartoon-like, and this time it was like with a crusty crab, with a crab thing, like, and strangled me, all right? And then I wonder, let's say this part is, I can't explain, but it will come the interesting part. Okay, so he strangles me, I get stripped of my upper clothes, which for me is a matter of masculinity and like this, you know, chest, my maleness, yeah. So I wanted to, nonetheless, than Jordan Peterson's tiny apartment, like in the, you know, in sometimes in the dream, the landscape is just wherever you are, that's the whole landscape, and there's nothing else, like dark. Everything that's not relevant is not there, right? So he strangles me, and there is this huge, like large ladders, like larger at the beginning and then like a little less wide. This is difficult. I find some difficulty expressing myself. My body always goes through a lot of things, so stay with me here. So I wandered to Jordan Peterson's house, and okay, he receives me, and I hide. I'm terribly afraid. My brother was like very violent, cruel, and maybe he was even chasing me or not. But then, no, my brother knocks or appears, and I tell Jordan, don't open. And Jordan goes and opens the door because wants me to confront, I guess. My brother appears out of nowhere and he's smoking a joint and offers me. And he was like, just wanting to connect, like in a codependent way, you know. I'm sorry. All the best to my brother, but here's the thing. He was like being all nice. Like he had forgotten how cruel he was. Minutes or an hour ago. So he was like in another fragment of his personality. And I was tired of that shit. So I appeared. This is not even the most important part of the dream, so hang in there. I step out of. I was like in the under a bed, under a wooden bed, and I went out and I said, "What the fuck?" And I boom. I gave him a couple of punches, and he didn't understand. I made him understand, and that was kind of a theme in my life, like being overpowered by my brother. So that's the first part. The second part is we go back to the beginning, right? And now he is strangling me in this cartoon-like shit with those crab things, you know? And what happens is the following. Now a underworld monster, very ugly, disgusting thing appears, right? And I immediately like freak out because this thing was like, it was like a thing that knew me, right? I need to understand. For me, these things are real. Like I have a relationship with these things, you know, these creatures and beings. I have also the perspective of relative reality, right? So for me it's real. At the same time, thank God, I can experience it as not real, and I take my power back. Let's say I take back the power that I give these things, that believing something is real when it gives it. You understand? When you believe demons or Satan or even God is real, I'm not arguing, there is certain power. I mean, talking about God, it depends on what you mean by God, right? And what you mean by belief, really. So, but with these things, there is certain power you give them when you believe in it that allows you to experience that realm. We could say of the Akashic records or of the universe or whatever. And then there is a power that you take back when you take a more, let's say, Buddhist perspective, maybe, or more less esoteric or religious or magic perspective, or even psychoanalytical perspective. So, okay, coming back to this monster, it was like was like chasing me very slowly, but it's not the classical thing. It's like this thing was ugly as fuck, like ugly as fuck. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm all for universal law, but this thing was ugly as fuck, and that's also relative. But ugly as fuck. All the hair was like, it was like the ugliest, most disgusting, horrific, and terrifying male figure that I can imagine. It was bluish or cyan, like sky blue, like this. Yeah, isn't that interesting? It was like this in the face and had like a large black covert. I don't know. I don't really think I saw arms or whatever. It was fat. That thing was like, you know, like, and it was like fat, not morbid, but was not a nice. It was like a refrigerator. His body, really, and it was so ugly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, really am, but Jesus, and it knew me. This is the psychological term, okay? It knew me. It wanted something from me that I knew what it was, but I didn't quite knew, you know. But I knew it was like, okay, it was a personification of my fear, my deepest fear, a fear that I have like buried on my solar plexus, and I processed a lot of fear, like a lot, in every part of my body. Those of you who know about physiological implicances of emotions and fear, okay? Fear is like something that clogs in the body, and you need to process in order to be free of it, right? So, okay, so this thing was approaching me, and it had like a cynical, apathetic, hopeless, but not like, or apathetic and cynic, and small eyes, like not really a formed face. It was like maybe even square or like I don't know. The hair was like gray and like what else? Oh, my dog is wanting some love. ¿Qué pasa, Pepito? Espérame. What else? And it was approaching me, and I was so afraid, unclothed, in a dark, like black night, like all black, instead of me, this thing. I don't know what was with it. At first, I don't know if it was my brother, and then turned into another figure, maybe like this hairy thing of Star Wars. But this thing was approaching me with that, like, cynic, apathetic, Jesus. It was so traumatic. That thing was like the personification of my trauma and fear most deepest fear. So it was like a very felt, visceral, like panic and terror. And this thing is probably my creation, by the way. That's maybe even more terrifying. In my creation, my shitty decisions, food decisions and addictions and tobacco and alcohol and lust and corruption and all that. Jesus Christ. And big, deep panic and fear and all this. And it was like, I didn't know how to respond because I was so afraid. I didn't know anything, like what was going to happen to me. I knew that it was my worst fear, like the deepest fear personified. And I didn't know how to respond. It was like outside of my comprehension what I was feeling. Like I'm beginning to understand fear this last couple of weeks. I'm beginning to understand fear. It's been very terrifying. And I'm still not through processing it by any means. You know, I sit for a long time. Not like in the past I could sit for 10 hours processing shit. So imagine that. But yeah. But remember, if you traumatize yourself, or I don't know, I had to do everything all over again. Many times, maybe. This is the third or fourth time I have to do everything all over again. Yeah. So it's been quite a bumpy ride, to say the least. So this thing was approaching me, and I go back once again, like it was a level 2 of the first thing. And the first part, my brother was following me, like, and that's terrifying enough. Believe me, he's older than me, and I believe myself to be more capable in many regards. I believe that I could fuck him up fight-wise. Not that I totally want to, or really want to, or want to at all. But there is something that blocks me when I'm in conflict with him. And it's like, I never told him this. It's like I let him win. I'm more afraid of beating him than him beating me. Make sense? Maybe. So, but I am more capable of integrating. Jesus, I am all over the place. I'm more capable of integrating shit. Like, I'm on this path, so I have those powers, let's say, and everything that comes with that. But you know, there is some block there. And he was following me, and then I was very scared. In these dreams, I like process a lot of physiological things in these dreams. It's very crazy, but very scary as fuck. I hate it. But he has his shoes, you know, can't deny that. So I ran again to Jordan Peterson's place. It's like a one-room apartment, like 22 square feet. It's very funny. Jordan Peterson there appears with a pipe and a joint. A pipe, smoking a joint, very dressed like Freud, like, I don't know, yeah, like with a brown gabardine, or no, brown suit, but not really, with a, like a triangular thing here. It's very interesting. and this thing was chasing me, and I go to the door. The first time, the door was like a building, those apartment buildings, and there was nobody there, and appeared Jordan and whatever. It was like when you open the apartment building thing, then it was no longer a hall; it was the apartment of Jordan Peterson, at in the hall floor, and all the rest of the building disappeared. That was really interesting, and the entrance was pretty much like my first psychologist entrance. So that's another thing that's interesting. And what else? So this bluish, this color thing is like just behind me, and this time it's a woman that opens the door. I'm like, open the fucking door, and or in Spanish, huh? I think. Sí, sí, sí. And she opens. She's beautiful. I say, thanks, darling. But she doesn't seem to be afraid. That's interesting. And I enter like no tomorrow, and then Jordan appears from the bedroom in which I hid. The first time, the bed was like a wooden thing. I was there in the first part. So I was in a panic that couldn't be described. And my solar plexus was like, it's very creepy. And this thing was just right behind me, and I thought this was the end. I think my thought was like, it would take me to the underworld, and I would be like, they will experiment with me or things like that, and rip me apart, and yeah, I don't know. I can't really, it was pure fear. So, Jesus, the face of that thing was like, so wait, this is the most interesting element. I'm finishing now. This thing, this monster, was a being. I would say it's a being. To him, everything went awfully wrong, and it became like, because in the end, I come to realize that the underworld is not only, let's say only, is not filled necessarily with beings of dark, but with beings of light that became through, I don't know, free will, but I was going to say poor decisions and whatever. Some of them are just exploring, just like me. I'm exploring, and I've been a dark being in the past, we could say, even though I am a light being, we could say, or both. But sometimes we polarize because we are finding our way. So, but some of these beings are like, where are they, right? Like, where's the soul? Others are consciously there. This is my understanding, right? Others are consciously there, like exploring through being to understand. That's crazy. So, but this thing was like, Jesus. I think it was my creation, And for a moment, this scared me a lot. For a moment, I thought that it came from my own belly. Right? How scary is that? How crazy is that? How awful and terrifying is that? for a moment I thought that it came from my underbelly, right? The underbelly can be very dark. Yeah. So I've treated my belly very poorly. I have had food addictions, sugar addiction, processed food addictions, cigarette. A couple months ago, I was smoking a cigar a day. And before that, I was smoking like 50 rolled tobaccos a day. So I've been crazy as fuck. I'm drinking alcohol, not much, but a couple of beers and eating roasted, like, bread, pizza, fries, burgers, milanesa, which is something that we hear is like a burger, let's say, with the crispy burger, you know? It was like crazy. And I did that for a while in the past to shut down psychosis and Kundalini energy, which I didn't know how to handle, and I had a full-fledged psychosis in the past. I've been hospitalized and pumped with all kinds of methods, injections and procedures, as you can imagine, terrible. And I survived, but I had to adapt with various shitty things. I've been through a lot. So, at the moment that arrive at Jordan Peterson's house, this beautiful lady opens and these things are like getting inside. And Jordan Peterson appears. I just look at them and they like instantly like make a U-turn. Like at the moment, like they were coming for me or whatever. At the moment that Jordan Peterson looked at these things, this monster and the other thing, these things like were approaching me and instantly like went away instantly. Well, it was miraculous. It was amazing. I felt so, oh my God. And then I woke up and I had to process all that. I was like, Jesus. And Jordan came with a pipe and a joint. That was very interesting. That was very funny. Very funny. And I woke up and I was like, fuck. And when I sleep, I don't know why my blood coagulates itself. You know, that's very odd. I've been sleeping very shittily for a long time, that's for sure. I mean, 2-3 years. It's been getting better, but very slow process. And what else? Yeah. And then I woke up. I was like with a rock in my solar plexus, very afraid. Imagine that. And then I sat in meditation and started to go through the processes that I know, to process things. I was so afraid. Fear was activated. Because fear is dormant or it is activated. Most people think they have no fear, but it's because their fear is dormant. We should know that. So this fear was activated, and I sat in meditation and I was going through these processes that I know to do, and then I did this. I said I became the monster. I tried to integrate it, but it was too much. And yeah, it's nighttime now, and yeah, it was very awful, terrible. And okay, that was my dream last night, and I think I going to keep processing fear and shit, and yeah, and really dig deeper and deeper while maintaining my connection to higher things, the heart, and the higher realms, really. I really like earthly, colorful, shamanic in a bright, beautiful way, or druidistical realms. I love that. That is my rock. That's beautiful and keeps me balanced a lot in this regard. So, all right, I think this is enough. Thank you. My name is Santiago, by the way. Yeah, which means Saint Jacob. My given name and last name are Santiago Juanico, which means this is very funny. Saint Jacob, son of John. That's my name, okay? I am Saint Jacob, son of John. I don't regard myself as a saint, but really, I mean, I can play the saint, but I am not a saint. I don't like to think of myself as that. Because if I am a saint, I am also a sinner. So here's the thing. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this space with me, for listening to me, which is amazing. This has been therapeutic, and I think I will keep doing this or something like this, reviewing my dreams or starting to maybe to speak. I love alchemy, really. I have no choice, but and I'm not always aware of alchemy. I mean, it's a consciousness that exhausts me because my body is not really, and my mind and my situation, let's say, is not very, I mean, I'm not doing really the job, let's say. I'm slowly getting there. I'm really lazy. We could say I am also very strong and driven, but I'm going through a lot and isolated. So, yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for being here and accompanying me. It means a lot, even if it's just the phone and the camera. I'm talking to people, and or who knows what, but people, and yeah. Look at this. This is the last. It's an artificial bonsai. I really like it. I have like 8 of them. So thank you, and maybe we'll see each other again. Take care. Okay. Bye.